A lot of times we'll go out and say, okay, I want to take this in 3 months, and we'll go ahead and pay for that certification on that date and have everything booked. What this does is it's supposed to give you some motivation. That way Welcome to Debt Free in IT. I'm your host, Mike. This podcast is for anyone who's looking to get into the IT industry, whether it's for a career change or you're just interested. I think you come to the right place. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the newest security certification by TryHackMe's. So this certification is called the Security Analyst Level 1 certification, abbreviated SAL1. And like I said, it's by the company TryHackMe's. If you're not familiar with TryHackMe's, so it's an online website that you can go to. And basically, it solves all your cybersecurity needs. So if you're interested in going down the pen testing route, finding vulnerabilities, hacking, anything within that realm, TryHackMe's is usually your one-stop shop. So you can go on this website, sign up. I think they may have a membership fee. And then also they may have a free tier, but basically you can sign up and learn all these skills in this one website. So TryHackMe's, like I said, is a one-stop shop. I remember signing up for them a couple of years ago when I was interested in going down that route. So they've been around for a while. They're one of the major players when it comes to cybersecurity. But this certification that they just brought out, basically it's a certification that is a hands-on practical certification. So meaning that there is a hands-on portion to it. And this certification validates entry-level SOC analyst skills in threat detection, triage, incident response, using real-world scenarios. So this certification is an industry-recognized certification designed for flexibility, allowing candidates to complete it at their own pace within a 24-hour period. And also, it has a SOC simulator to help you prepare for the exam by giving you multiple scenarios in this virtual SOC environment. So we're starting to see a lot of vendors or certification vendors go this route, where instead of setting up time and having to go find a testing center, like usually whenever I take a CCNA certification or CCNP, usually I have to go find the closest testing center to me and then go to that testing center and go ahead and take the certification. So a lot of them now, I know with the CCST certifications, you're able to take those remote and they can be remotely proctored. And then also with this new certification here, like I said, you're able to take it in the comfort of your own home within a 24-hour period. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at who should take this certification, some comparisons to other certifications, look at the topics covered, and how this exam is structured. So first, we're going to look at who is this certification for. So this certification is a beginner certification, entry level, no prereqs required, but they do have some recommended learning that you can take before preparing for the exam. So basically on their website, they have a link for the recommended learning. I'll also put the link in the description of this video. And then this certification is aimed at students. So if you're someone that's currently in school and you're going down this cybersecurity route, this may be something that you can look at as a supplement to your courses in school. Then also it's meant for IT personnel. So if you're already working in IT and maybe you're trying to level up, or maybe you're just trying to sharpen your skill set, this is for you too. Also, any aspiring security analyst and anyone that's already working as a security analyst. And there's a couple more different job roles that this certification is aimed towards. So this certification, like I said, is a good beginner certification. And if you're already going down a course route, this may be something that you look at to supplement some of the things you're already learning in whatever route you're going down. So like I said, this certification, entry-level certification, meant for any type of beginner, anyone that's looking to learn. I would say that if you're very, very new to this, you may want to look at the recommended training that they have first, because it's going to kind of bring you up to speed. When I took a look glance at it, it had some networking fundamentals and things, of some cyber fundamentals in there that will help you out along the way. That way, once you start preparing for it, the things that you encounter while preparing won't seem like a foreign language to you. It won't be as new as it would be if you just jumped at this certification from a beginner standpoint. So if you're totally a beginner, I would at least take a glance at that training that they recommend before you start studying for this certification. So next, looking at some comparisons with this certification. So Like I said, on the website, they compare this certification to the CySA Plus, which is a CompTIA certification, the BTL1 certification, and the CDSA certification. So a lot of those certifications that's geared towards that SOC analyst role. One certification that I think that this compares to also, just from looking at it, is the CyberOps certification, which the CyberOps may be a higher level than this certification, since this certification is geared towards entry level, where the CyberOps certification is listed as an associate certification. So, but it closely resembles that CyberOps certification from me looking at it with first glance here. But looking on their website, they only compare it to the CySA Plus, the BTL1, and the CDSA certification. And then looking at what's on this certification is broken down into 6 domains. So those domains are the foundations, which is covers cybersecurity concepts, cyber defense frameworks domain, common malicious behavior domain, tools of the trade domain, common SOC documentation domain, then the day-to-day SOC activities domain. So from looking at the topics that's covered at first glance, I can clearly tell that this certification is made to mimic a SOC analyst role. So basically what this certification does, and also on the website, they show they list that they went to different employers and basically found out what the employers need. They had a lot of cybersecurity professionals involved in this certification. So basically this certification is meant to let the person know that's taking this certification what you may encounter when you get the job as a SOC analyst. A lot of times the SOC analyst, like I said, you're doing a lot of monitoring and things like that. So with this, it's getting you used to that environment. So it's showing you the tools that you're most likely going to be using. And then also while you're learning those tools, you're also learning the different day-to-day activities and different things on documentation. So that way, when you come into a SOC analyst role or you start applying for these roles, this certification, I think in the future, will be one that holds a lot of weight, or is one that they know, the employer knows that, okay, if you pass this certification, you got to at least know something. So, you know what's on this certification because of that hands-on portion, so, and also the questions and everything too. But I think that this certification is a little bit different, and I do think that in the future we'll see more and more certifications that's geared directly at a particular role, where, like I said, this is mainly geared at that SOC analyst role. I can see where other certifications pinpoint different roles in IT and hone in just on that one role. That way, if someone's trying to be a SOC analyst, they know what certifications to go after. If someone's trying to be a network, so we already kind of have one for networking, but with anything else, I think it's going to start to drill down more niche to where, okay, this certification is for this particular role, where basically some of them is like that now, but like I said, you got a wide range out there now. So I think this is to me, I think it's going to be the start of something that we start seeing with a lot of other companies. So I hope you're enjoying this episode. I'd like to introduce you to my new newsletter, The Log Files. So The Log Files is a weekly newsletter to help you start your IT career with practical advice and tips powered by yours truly. So it's already launched at the beginning of the year, packed with actionable advice, resources, and insights to kickstart your IT journey. The link is in the description as well as pinned in the comments, so don't miss out. So the next thing we want to look at is how this exam is structured. So being that this exam do have seems like a major hands-on component to it, it's neat to see how they got this exam structured. Is it going to be a mixture of, okay, you answering questions and then maybe one question, it pops up something where you have to go in and do a hands-on configuration, or how will they have this structured? So the structure of this certification is broken up into 3 sections. You have a 80-question multiple choice that gives you an hour time limit. So you have to finish this within an hour. Then you move on to the next section, which is a SOC simulator scenario, and you have a 2-hour time limit here. And then you have another SOC scenario, a second scenario, that also has a 2-hour time limit. And then based upon what I comprehend from the website is once you start a section, then that's when your clock starts. So you have an hour to finish it. Then let's say after you finish that first section, if you want to take a little break or something and then start up the next section, then you're able to do so. But you have to have all 3 sections finished within 24 hours. So, which I think is neat also, because you can go through, do the questions that morning, take you a couple hours, hour or 2 break, maybe look back over some notes or something like that, and then go ahead and hit the second scenario. Then you have a 2-hour time limit on it. And then after you get through that first scenario, then you look at the second scenario. You can take you another break in between if you need be. And then you have another 2-hour time limit on that. So each section, the time doesn't start, according to what I got from their website. The time doesn't start until you start that particular section. So, and then you must have all 3 of these sections done within 24 hours. So that brings the exam to roughly about 5 or 6 hours. So we're looking at maybe a 6-hour exam that must be taken within 24 hours. So you can break that up as you need, take your breaks in between or whatever. And then we're moving on to the price. So the price of this certification lists as $349, but this includes 3 months of premium access and then a free retake if you fail the first exam. So basically, for $350, you might as well say, you get the access to the premium content. So basically, you can go in and go through the courses to study for this certification. And then on top of it, you get a free retake if you happen to fail the first time. So like I said, I think that's a pretty good deal, because most certifications is running roughly around that $350, $400 mark for, I know the CCNA is roughly around that price. A lot of the CompTIA certifications is around that price also, anywhere from that $300 to $400 mark. So like I said, I think this is a pretty good deal because it has some add-ons to it. So you're paying the $350, which includes basically 2 takes, 2 swings at bat at this exam. And then also you got 3 months of access. So one of the things is that once you pay for this certification, I think it's one of the things, a psychological trick that we always do with anyone that takes certification tests, where with you, if you're taking this CCNA, a lot of times we'll go out and say, okay, I want to take this in 3 months, and we'll go ahead and pay for that certification on that date and have everything booked. What this does is it's supposed to give you some motivation. That way, you know, you got your money on the line, so you're motivated to come in and study for this certification until it's time to take it. This is sort of what I think this certification will do also, because you're paying for the certification in advance in order to get access to the training, in order to get access to the content. So basically, once you got money on the line, psychologically, a lot of times, I know I'm this way. Once I put money on the line, oh, shit done got real then, you know, it's real deal then. So now it's time to hone in and start studying for this thing. So like I said, that price of $349, I don't think that's a bad deal at all. And then when we're looking at how long this certification lasts, so just like most certifications, this certification also must be renewed every 3 years. So basically, this certification, I think the 3-year mark is kind of the sweet spot that a lot of vendors have found, because basically about every 3 years, if you notice, technology changes pretty often. So that 3-year mark is kind of a good mark to where, okay, we can put some updates in this certification. And then that way we're keeping up with real time with this certifications, you know. So if you look at Cisco, they started adding in updates where they do smaller updates now, but it allows them to frequently update that certification to mimic the real world. Same thing here. They're going to start to update this certification to mimic the real world. Whatever depends on the employer's needs, they can add it in this certification. So overall, I think this will be a good certification. Me, mainly, I like the hands-on portion to a lot of certification, because that's usually what draws my interest. Any certification that has a hands-on portion to it. And then some of my concerns would be, how fast will this certification get on employers' radar? So how fast will this become something that employers start asking for or employers start looking for? So right now, the certification is not like a Security Plus, where it's an industry standard for security, or maybe like a Cisco certification where it's kind of a industry standard geared towards networking. But overall, I can see myself probably taking this certification if I wanted to go down the path of cybersecurity, if I want to go down the path of pen testing, because this certification, I think, will give you some exposure to that. And then just looking at the TryHackMe website in general. So they have a lot of useful tools, a lot of hackathons and things like that they have on there. So it's worth taking a look at. So, but my only concerns were just how fast will employers start to look for this certification or start to ask that someone has this certification. So I got one question left. Will this certification be added to your list of certifications in the future? So that brings me to the end of this episode. Hopefully you found some value in this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, you can follow me at debtfreeinit. If you have any questions, you can email me at debtfreeinit@gmail.com, or you can visit my website, debtfreeinitwithmike.com. Other than that, I'll see you next week. Peace.